Well, thank you. I've done a lot of challenging things in my life, but this might be one of the more interesting things to encapsulate a very rich conversation, a 4-hour conversation into 3 minutes, over issues that are not only near and dear to us as Alaskans, but also complex. So my group has given me license to try to be as simple as possible, understanding that these are very complicated issues. So our group did look at all the material that was provided to us and did vote on revenue-raising measures. We looked at, and we want to be clear that we thought we didn't have enough information, of course, to make final decisions, but to study taxes that and revenue-raising measures that we came up with about $1 billion to $1.6 billion in revenue-raising measures. Now, each one of those has a complexity to them, also a cost of collection, and that was a concern for the group. As we looked at these very smaller mechanisms that would raise relatively small amounts of money, how complex would that be, and what would the interactions between those revenue-raising measures be? But we weren't able to go to green, I guess is the point, in looking at the revenue-raising measures. We asked to be inserted in the model $500 million in permanent spending reductions beyond the $800 million that's already been reduced. Commissioner Hoffbeck came in and miracle made the model do that. That was very helpful. And then we turned our discussion to permanent fund earnings, and we had some experts, seasoned experts in the room, and I think our views were that the permanent fund earnings and perhaps portions of the inflation proofing do need to be seriously looked at to close the gap. There's really very little other way to do it. And the permanent fund earnings could come in 2 different ways, or the permanent fund draws. One would be, as I said, the earnings, a portion of the earnings. Another would be to review the inflation proofing criteria and only use those mechanisms in times of need. So if the price of oil increased, or if we had a gas line, we would use that as a temporary measure to fill our holes. We do understand the very intense need to work for the gas line. The model shows in 2027 revenue coming in, and all attention obviously should be focused on that. So this concept of a bridge to that period, if we can reasonably assume that, would be a way to go about this philosophy of discussing with the public that we have to take extraordinary measures, and we will evaluate this on a periodic basis. We also were concerned about any mechanisms that would be so complex that they would bog down the ability for the legislature and the governor to act, whether those are constitutional issues or other things. So trying to streamline the approach to an approach where the legislature, through a majority, and the governor, in working together, could accomplish these within a shorter period of time. We also believe that there is still tremendous confusion among the public about oil taxes and production credits. We were not experts in that for the most part. So we did have some good discussions, but we were not really able to evaluate as a group those issues, and we feel that continuation of education is vital. Additionally, to the extent we do anything with the permanent fund that affects the value of the dividend, we feel that it's important to communicate to the public about their individual dividend. For instance, you could have a situation potentially where you're tapping into $10 of someone's dividend value, and for that they are getting schools, highways, public safety, et cetera, basic services. So to really bring this down to an individual level seemed really important. So, Governor, that is, and Lieutenant Governor, that's our report. I hope I accurately reflected it, and it was really an honor to be able to participate in this activity.